The vast emptiness of space held many secrets, but none quite like the one the salvage crew of the Starseeker stumbled upon that day. First Officer Reeves stood at the bridge's main viewport, his four eyes widening at the sight before him. Through the darkness of space, illuminated by their ship's external lights, floated what appeared to be an ancient warship. Scanners show it's of human origin. Tech specialist Banks reported from his station, his scaled fingers dancing across the holographic controls. Design matches their early interstellar period, approximately 300 years old. Reed clicked his mandibles in amusement. Humans. Now that's a race I haven't heard mentioned in a long time. He turned to his crew of 6, all of whom shared knowing looks. Everyone in the galaxy knew about humans, a species that had shown great promise before mysteriously vanishing from the galactic stage centuries ago. "Bring us closer," Reed ordered. "Let's see what kind of salvage we can get from this relic." The Starseeker glided smoothly through space, its advanced engines barely making a whisper. As they approached, the human vessel's hull came into clearer view. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of their salvage ship, but it looked primitive by modern standards. Its hull was marked with what appeared to be conventional armor plating, and visible weapon ports housed what seemed to be simple projectile launchers. "Look at those crude weapons," Officer Jones laughed, pointing at the gun emplacements. "They actually used physical ammunition. How primitive." Banks ran another scan. Ship's designation is still visible on the hull, TES Harbinger. He paused, checking his readings. Interesting. Power readings are at absolute minimum, but not quite zero. Some systems might still be functional. Reed waved his hand dismissively. After 300 years. Impossible. Human technology was basic at best. Their ships barely had eye assistance, let alone long-term sustainability. The crew prepared for boarding operations, donning their environmental suits. Reed led the first team across the void between ships, their magnetic boots connecting with the Harbinger's hull, with dull thuds that echoed through their suits. This would make an excellent addition to the Imperial Museum of Conquered Species, Reed commented over the comm channel. The curators would pay well for such a complete specimen of human engineering. They found an external airlock that, surprisingly, still responded to basic override commands. The team entered the ship, their suit lights illuminating corridors that had been dark for centuries. Emergency lighting flickered weakly as they passed, drawing power from somewhere deep within the vessel. Everything looked so analog, Banks observed, running his scanner over a nearby control panel. Physical switches, manual overrides. They really didn't trust automation, did they? The team made their way deeper into the ship, documenting everything they found. The bridge was a testament to human inefficiency. Individual stations for different functions, physical view screens, and manual control interfaces everywhere. Hard to believe they ever managed space travel with technology like this, Jones commented, brushing dust off what appeared to be a navigation console. Reed was about to agree when Banks called out from a different station. "Sir, I'm picking up something unusual. There's a power source active in the lower decks. It's faint, but it's there. Probably just residual energy in their primitive batteries," Reed replied. "Nothing to worry about." But as Banks touched the console to get better readings, something unexpected happened. A soft hum began to resonate through the ship's hull. Dormant displays flickered briefly, and a deep thrumming sound echoed through the corridors. "What did you do?" Reed demanded. "Nothing, sir," Banks replied, checking his scanner. The power readings are increasing. Something's happening." Reed was about to order an immediate evacuation when a quiet, almost gentle voice echoed through the ship's ancient communication system. "Foreign presence detected. Initiating security protocols. Welcome aboard the TES Harbinger." The salvage crew looked at each other in confusion and growing concern. This was supposed to be a dead ship, a relic of a lost civilization. Instead, something was awakening, something that had been waiting patiently in the darkness of space for 3 centuries. Reed felt a shiver run down his spine as more systems began to power up around them. Perhaps they had been too quick to dismiss human engineering after all. The gentle hum throughout the TES Harbinger grew stronger with each passing moment. Reed and his salvage crew stood frozen on the bridge, watching as more systems began to activate around them. The ship's emergency lights strengthened, bathing everything in a soft blue glow. "Banks, what's happening?" Reed demanded, trying to keep his voice steady. "Shut it down." The tech specialist's fingers moved frantically across his scanner. "I can't, sir. The ship's systems are activating on their own. It's waking up." The ship's voice spoke again, stronger this time. "Primary systems reinitializing. Area defense network coming online. Beginning full system diagnostic." "ARIA?" Jones asked, backing away from a console that had suddenly lit up with scrolling data. "What's ARIA?" As if in response, a holographic projection appeared in the center of the bridge. It showed a simplified human figure made of blue light. "I am ARIA, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Assistant. I serve as the central control system of the TES Harbinger." Reed clicked his mandibles nervously. This was far more advanced than any human AI they had records of. This must be some kind of malfunction. Human AIs were basic command and response systems. "Your assessment is incorrect," ARIA stated calmly. "I am fully sentient and have been in dormant status for the past 327 years, 4 months and 12 days, awaiting proper reactivation protocols." Banks checked his scanner again, his scales paling slightly. "Sir, you need to see these power readings. The ship's reactor. It's not primitive at all. These energy signatures don't match any known human technology from that era." Around them, the ship continued its awakening. Panels that had appeared dead now revealed themselves to be advanced touch-sensitive displays. What they had thought were simple projectile weapons were transforming, revealing complex energy weapon systems hidden beneath false covers. "Impossible," Reed whispered. "This technology, it's beyond even our current level." "Attention unauthorized visitors," ARIA announced, her tone becoming more formal. "You have activated emergency protocols on a Terran military vessel. Please state your intentions." Reed tried to regain control of the situation. "We are a salvage crew. We claimed this vessel under galactic salvage laws. It's our right to." "Incorrect," ARIA interrupted. "The TES Harbinger remains active military property of the Terran fleet. Salvage claims are invalid." The ship shuddered slightly as hidden defense systems emerged from beneath seemingly solid hull plates. Banks' scanner started beeping frantically. "Sir," he called out, "these readings, the weapons systems alone could take out a modern battle cruiser. And there's something else. Some kind of signal is being transmitted." "Stop that transmission," Reed ordered. Unable to comply, ARIA responded. "Priority alert has been sent to notify appropriate authorities of ship's reactivation. Additionally, internal scans indicate presence of viable cryopod in secure storage, beginning revival sequence." The alien crew looked at each other in growing panic. What had started as a simple salvage operation was quickly becoming something far more dangerous. "Sir," Jones said quietly, "maybe we should leave before." A deep rumble cut through the ship, followed by the sound of massive machinery coming to life deep within the vessel's hull. The deck plates vibrated beneath their feet as ancient but incredibly advanced systems powered up one after another. "Quantum drive initiating startup sequence," ARIA announced. "Weapons systems online. Shield generators charging. Detecting one life form in cryo storage showing strong vital signs. Estimated time to revival, 60 minutes. Reed finally found his voice again. "We need to leave. Now." But as they turned to exit the bridge, the massive doors sealed shut with a heavy thud. Aria's hologram watched them with what almost seemed like amusement. "I apologize, but I cannot allow you to leave," she said. "Captain Miller will want to speak with you when he awakens. Until then, Please make yourselves comfortable. Any attempt to damage ship systems or force your way out will be met with appropriate security measures." The salvage crew huddled together on the bridge, watching as the ancient warship continued its transformation around them. Through the viewports, they could see parts of the hull shifting and changing, revealing the true nature of the vessel they had so foolishly dismissed as a relic. The hunters had become the trapped, and something told Reed that their troubles were only beginning. Deep within the TES Harbinger, in a heavily shielded chamber, frost began to melt from a single cryopod. Steam rose from its surface as ancient machinery hummed to life, carefully warming its precious cargo. Inside, a human figure floated in blue-tinted preservation fluid. On the bridge, Reed and his crew watched the process through Aria's holographic display. None of them had ever seen a living human before. "Vital signs are strong," Aria reported. "Captain Miller's neural patterns are stable, beginning final revival sequence." Banks couldn't help but study the readings on his scanner. The preservation technology is incredible. The cellular decay is almost zero after 3 centuries. Our best cryo systems can't match this level of preservation. A sudden alarm blared through the ship's corridors. Aria's hologram flickered with urgency. "Alert! Unknown vessels approaching. 6 warships detected at long range. Energy signatures match Drachnid Empire configurations." "Drachnids," Jones whispered fearfully. "They're pirates and slavers. They must have detected the ship's power surge." Reed stepped forward. "Aria, you have to let us contact our ship. We can escape before they arrive." "Negative," Aria replied calmly. "The TES Harbinger is a Terran warship. We do not flee from combat. Captain Miller will handle the situation upon revival." 1 human against 6 Drachnid warships. Reed clicked his mandibles in disbelief. "That's suicide." The ship's AI seemed to ignore his protest. Instead, her hologram split into multiple displays, showing the revival chamber and the approaching enemy ships simultaneously. In the cryo chamber, the preservation fluid began to drain. Captain Miller's chest rose and fell with his first natural breath in centuries. His eyes opened slowly, revealing sharp blue irises that quickly focused on his surroundings. "Welcome back, Captain," Aria's voice echoed in the chamber. "Current year is 2784. You have been in cryo sleep for 327 years, 4 months, and 12 days. We have a situation requiring immediate attention." Miller's voice was rough from centuries of disuse, but clear. "Status report, Aria. Ship systems are at 94% operational capacity. We have 6 hostile vessels approaching, classified as Drachnid warships. Additionally, we have 5 unauthorized visitors on the bridge, a salvage crew that triggered our reactivation protocols." The captain nodded, reaching for a nearby console. The wall slid open, revealing a perfectly preserved uniform. "Time until enemy contact." 17 minutes, Captain." On the bridge, the alien crew watched in amazement as medical readings showed the human captain moving with increasing strength and coordination. The cryopod's medical systems had prevented any muscle atrophy during his long sleep. "This is impossible," Banks muttered, checking his readings again. "His cognitive functions are already at full capacity. It's like he was never in cryo-sleep at all." The bridge doors suddenly opened with a soft hiss. Captain James Miller stepped through, his black uniform pristine, his posture straight and confident. He wasn't particularly tall or physically imposing, but something about his presence made the alien crew step back instinctively. "So," Miller said, looking at each of them with those piercing blue eyes, "you're the ones who woke my ship." Reed tried to stand tall. "We are a legal salvage crew. We had no way of knowing that the ship was still active, that humans weren't as primitive as you thought." Miller's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Aria, what's our weapons status?" "All systems online, Captain. Quantum cannons charge. Shield generators at full power. Combat AI subroutines ready for activation." Miller walked to the captain's chair and sat down, his movements smooth and precise. Holographic displays sprang to life around him, showing ship systems that the salvage crew hadn't even known existed. "Here's what's going to happen," he said calmly. "Those Drachnid ships are going to learn why the Harbinger earned its name, and you're going to watch. Maybe then you'll understand why humans hid our true capabilities from the galaxy." The alien crew exchanged nervous glances as the ship's hidden weapons emerged from their concealment. The approaching Drachnid vessels had no idea what they were about to face: a human warship at full power, commanded by a captain who had just woken from a very long sleep, and he didn't look happy about being disturbed. The Drachnid ships approached with growing confidence, their weapons charged and ready. Through the Harbinger's view screen, their sleek, predatory forms cut through space like dark shadows. "They're hailing us," Araya announced. Captain Miller nodded. "Let's hear what they have to say." A harsh voice filled the bridge. "Attention, unknown vessel. This is Commander Vex of the Drachnid Empire. Surrender immediately or be destroyed." Miller smiled slightly. "Araya, show them a visual feed of just the bridge. Audio only from my station." The alien salvage crew watched as the captain deliberately leaned back in his chair, letting the Drachnids see what appeared to be an antiquated command center. "This is Captain James Miller of the Terran warship Harbinger. We're experiencing some system problems. Request time to get our old engines working." Commander Vex's laughter echoed through the bridge. "A human? In a centuries-old ship? This must be our lucky day. You have 1 minute to power down all systems and prepare for boarding." Miller cut the transmission and turned to Reed and his crew. "Watch carefully. You're about to see why humanity chose to hide its true power." "Sir," Banks said, checking his scanner, "the Drachnid ships are in attack formation. Their weapons are primitive compared to ours," Miller finished. "Araya, disengage the external camouflage. Show them what they're really facing." The ship shuddered slightly. The salvage crew rushed to the viewports, watching in amazement as the Harbinger's hull began to transform. What had appeared to be old armor plates shifted and flowed like liquid metal. The seemingly primitive weapon ports disappeared, replaced by sleek quantum weapon arrays that pulsed with blue energy. "Impossible," Reed whispered. "That's metamorphic nanoalloy. But that's just theoretical technology." "For you, maybe," Miller said. "Humanity developed it 4 centuries ago." "Araya, activate the quantum shield grid." A shimmering field of energy enveloped the ship, so advanced it bent light around the hull. The Drachnid ships suddenly halted their approach. "They're scanning us," Araya reported, detecting significant energy spike from their weapons. "Let them shoot first," Miller ordered. "I want our guests to see the difference between their technology and ours." The Drachnid ships opened fire. Streams of plasma energy lanced through space toward the Harbinger. The salvage crew instinctively ducked, but the quantum shields absorbed the attacks without even flickering. "Shield power at 99.99%, Araya announced. "No significant energy drain detected." The Drachnids fired again, this time with their heaviest weapons. The results were the same. Their most powerful shots couldn't even dent the Harbinger's defenses. "Impossible," Banks exclaimed, staring at his readings. "The energy output, the shield technology, it's all beyond anything in our scientific databases." Miller leaned forward in his chair. "Araya, show them a small demonstration. Target their lead ship's primary weapon array. Minimal power." A single weapon port on the Harbinger's hull glowed softly. A beam of pure quantum energy, no thicker than a finger, lanced out. It passed through the Drachnid ship's shields like they weren't there, precisely cutting their main weapon in half. What was that?" Jones asked, his voice shaking. "Focused quantum beam technology," Miller explained. "It ignores conventional shields and armor, targeting matter at the subatomic level. That shot used about 0.1% of the weapon's full power." The Drachnid ships were quickly backing away now. Commander Vex's voice came through again, this time much less confident. What are you? Miller's voice was calm but carried an edge of steel. We are humanity's guardians, Commander. The reason we disappeared wasn't because we were weak. It was because we were too strong. We chose isolation over the risk of our technology being misused. He turned to Reeve and his crew. Your people thought you found a relic, a museum piece to mock humanity's primitive past. Instead, you woke up one of the washers we left behind. There are more of us out there, sleeping in ships like this one, making sure humanity's legacy doesn't fall into the wrong hands. The salvage crew stood in stunned silence as the Harbinger's true power hummed around them. They had come looking for salvage and instead found something that changed everything they thought they knew about humanity. And this was just the beginning. Commander Vex was not used to feeling fear. His Drachnid battle fleet had always been enough to handle any situation. But now, staring at the transformed human warship through his command screen, cold dread crept up his spine. Sir, his weapons officer reported, we're detecting more energy signatures. 15 warships just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. They're Krell battle cruisers. On the Harbinger's bridge, Captain Miller's expression hardened. The Krell were known throughout the galaxy as the most advanced warrior race, their technology far superior to the Drachnids. ARIA, full tactical display, Miller ordered. The bridge's holographic systems created a perfect 3D image of space around them. 15 massive warships, their hulls covered in crystalline weapons, surrounded them in a battle formation. Reed stepped forward nervously. Captain, those are Krell ships. Their technology is leagues beyond even our most advanced fleets. No single ship can. Incoming transmission. ARIA interrupted. From the Krell command ship. A deep, resonating voice filled the bridge. Attention, human vessel. I am High Commander Drav of the Krell Empire. Your ship's energy signature matches our ancient records. You will surrender this vessel for study, or we will take it by force. Miller looked at the salvage crew, then back at the tactical display. You're about to see why humanity went into hiding. ARIA. Activate all combat systems. Release safety protocols on the quantum core. The ship's hum changed to a deep, powerful throb. Hidden panels throughout the bridge opened, revealing crystalline control interfaces that made the Krell technology look primitive in comparison. What are those? Banks whispered, his scanner going crazy with readings. Neural interface systems, Miller explained, placing his hands on 2 crystal panels. Humans developed direct mind-to-ship combat systems centuries ago. ARIA. Initiate neural sync. Blue energy coursed through the crystals into Miller's arms. His eyes glowed with the same blue light as streams of data flowed directly into his mind. Neural sync complete, ARIA announced. Captain has direct control of all combat systems. The Krell commander's voice came again, more threatening. Your ship's weapons are powering up. This is foolish. No single vessel can stand against a Krell battle fleet. Miller's voice carried a hint of amusement. You're about to learn why the old stories about humans weren't just stories. ARIA. Show them what a quantum fold looks like. Space itself seemed to bend around the Harbinger. The salvage crew watched in awe as reality warped, creating multiple images of their ship. Quantum probability manipulation, Banks gasped. They're all real copies. The ship exists in multiple dimensions at once. The Krell fleet opened fire, their crystalline weapons launching beams of pure energy. But the Harbinger was everywhere and nowhere, each quantum copy as real as the original, each armed with the same impossible weapons. Sir, one of the Krell officers reported, his voice shaking, their technology. It's operating on principles we can't even detect. Our sensors can't lock onto their position. Miller's hands danced across the crystal controls, his mind directly linked to every system. ARIA. Target their weapon systems. Non-lethal strikes only. We're making a point, not starting a war. Quantum beams lanced out from every copy of the Harbinger, striking with surgical precision. Krell weapon systems exploded, shields failed, and engines went dark. In 30 seconds, the entire Krell battle fleet was completely disabled. The Drachnid ships, which had been holding back, turned to flee. But they found themselves frozen in space, caught in the Harbinger's quantum field. "Now," Miller said, his voice carrying the weight of centuries, "let's talk about why you're all so interested in this ancient relic of a ship." Reed looked at his fellow salvage crew members, then at the disabled Krell fleet, and finally at Captain Miller. "You could have done this at any time, even when we first boarded." Miller nodded, the blue glow fading from his eyes as he disengaged from the neural interface. The quantum fold technology alone could have conquered the galaxy. That's why humanity chose to hide. We separated our most powerful ships and crews, placing them in strategic locations, watching and waiting. "Waiting for what?" Jones asked quietly. Before Miller could answer, Ariah's voice carried a new urgency. "Captain, detecting multiple quantum signatures. More ships are coming. Energy patterns match. Human vessels." The salvage crew rushed to the viewports as space lit up with new arrivals. More ships like the Harbinger were appearing, their ancient disguises falling away to reveal their true forms. The Watchers were waking up. Space lit up with brilliant flashes as 5 more human warships emerged from quantum space. Like the Harbinger, they shed their ancient disguises, revealing sleek hulls that rippled with advanced technology. "Ariah, identify incoming vessels," Miller ordered, his hands back on the neural interface crystals. "Confirmed human signatures: TES Valiant, TES Thunder, TES Storm, TES Phoenix, and TES Guardian, all vessels reporting full combat readiness." The bridge's holographic display showed more Krell and Drachnid reinforcements arriving. Over 30 enemy warships now surrounded them, their weapons charged. "This is Captain Anna Wells of the TES Valiant," a new voice came through the comm. "Looks like you started the party without us, James." Miller smiled. "Good to hear your voice, Anna. How long have you been awake?" "About 6 hours. Your ship's activation signal woke us all up, just like the old protocol said it would." The Krell High Commander's voice boomed across all channels. "More human vessels. Finally, we can claim all your technology at once. All ships, open fire. Show these relics the true power of modern weapons." The space around them erupted in chaos. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and graviton pulses filled the void. But the human ships moved like dancers in a deadly ballet, their quantum probability drives making them nearly impossible to hit. "Battle Formation Delta," Miller commanded. "Show them what coordinated quantum fold combat looks like." The 6 human ships synchronized their quantum fields. Suddenly, there weren't just 6 ships. There were dozens of quantum copies, each as real as the original, each capable of fighting. Reed and his crew watched in amazement as the battle unfolded. The human ships weren't just fighting. They were putting on a display of technological superiority that defied imagination. "Look at that coordination," Banks whispered, his scanner trying desperately to keep up with the readings. "Their quantum fields are perfectly synchronized. They're sharing a single combat space across multiple dimensions." The Harbinger's neural interface glowed brighter as Miller linked deeper into the combat systems. Through the quantum network, all 6 human captains fought as one, their ships moving with impossible precision. "Target their flagship," Miller ordered. "Minimal force, maximum effect." 6 quantum beams converged from different dimensional points, bypassing the Krell flagship's shields completely. The massive ship's weapon systems died instantly, its engines freezing in space. The Drachnid ships tried to retreat, but found themselves caught in a quantum web. The human vessels had created a dimensional trap, making escape impossible. "Your weapons have been disabled," Miller's voice echoed across all channels. "Your engines are contained. This demonstration is over." High Commander Drav's voice had lost all its arrogance. What are you?" Captain Wells answered this time. "We are humanity's guardians. For centuries, we've watched the galaxy grow and develop. We hid our true technology because we knew the galaxy wasn't ready for it. The quantum fold technology alone, Miller added, could have given us control of every known world. The neural interfaces could have linked every mind in the galaxy. We chose isolation over domination. Through the viewport, the salvage crew could see the enemy ships floating helplessly in space. Not a single shot from the Krell or Drachnid fleets had managed to touch the human vessels. "Sir," Banks said quietly to Reed, "their technology, it's beyond anything. The way they manipulate space, time, and reality itself." Miller disengaged from the neural interface, the blue glow fading from his eyes. "This is why we hid. Humanity reached a point where our power could have corrupted us. So we separated our most advanced ships and crews, placing them in dormancy across the galaxy. And now," Reed asked, "why reveal yourselves now?" Before Miller could answer, Aria's voice carried a note of urgency. "Captain, detecting multiple quantum signatures at the edge of the system. Energy patterns match. The First Fleet." The bridge fell silent as space itself seemed to part like a curtain. Through the quantum rift came ships that made even the Harbinger look small. Their hulls shimmered with technologies that even the human guardian ships didn't possess. Miller's expression was grim but determined. Now it's time for humanity to return. The Watchers have done their duty. The real fleet is awakening." The salvage crew stood in stunned silence as more human ships emerged from quantum space. The galaxy was about to change forever, and they were watching it happen. The first fleet of humanity filled the view screen with their magnificent presence. 12 massive ships, each one larger than a small moon, emerged from quantum space. Their hulls gleamed with technology so advanced it seemed almost magical. "All Guardian vessels, stand down," a new voice echoed through all channels. "This is Admiral Thomas Kane of the TES Eternity. Well done, Watchers. Your vigil is complete." Miller stood at attention, a smile of relief on his face. "Admiral, the Guardian ships await your orders." The salvage crew, along with the captured Krell and Drachnid fleets, watched in awe as the First Fleet took formation around them. Each ship was unique, their designs unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. "What happens now?" Reed asked quietly. Miller turned to the salvage crew. "Now you get to witness why humanity really went into hiding. Aria, display historical records. Authorization. Miller Final Protocol." The bridge's holographic system created a three-dimensional image of the galaxy. Red dots appeared throughout it, thousands of them, each representing a sleeping human ship. 300 years ago, Miller explained, our scientists discovered something terrible. A threat coming from beyond the galaxy, something that devours civilizations whole. We couldn't stop it alone, and the galaxy wasn't ready to face it united. Admiral Kane's voice continued the explanation. So we developed our technology in secret, placed our guardian ships to watch over the galaxy's development, and waited. The Guardians were just phase 1, protecting and guiding without interfering directly. Banks checked his scanner, his hands shaking. These ships, the energy readings are off the scale. They could reshape reality itself. Miller finished. Yes, because that's what we'll need to do to save everyone. The First Fleet's flagship, the TES Eternity, moved forward. Its hull opened like a blooming flower, revealing a core of pure energy that made the quantum drives look primitive in comparison. To all ships present, Admiral Kane announced, "You are witnessing the return of humanity. Not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as guardians. The threat approaches, and now we must prepare the galaxy to face it." Through the view screen, more quantum rifts were opening. Guardian ships from across the galaxy were arriving, each with their own stories of watching and waiting. The sky was filling with human vessels, all shedding their ancient disguises. "Your salvage crew," Miller said to Reed, "woke me by accident, but it happened at exactly the right time. The calculations our scientists made centuries ago were correct. The threat will arrive within the year." The Krell High Commander's voice was humble now. "What do you need from us?" "Unity," Admiral Kane replied. "Humanity has spent centuries developing the technology to face this threat. Now we need to teach you how to use it. All of you, every race, every world, working together." The holographic display showed new images, training centers, defense platforms, and technology far beyond anything the galaxy had imagined. Humanity's gift to all races. "That's why we hid," Miller explained to the amazed salvage crew. "Not from fear, not from weakness, but to prepare." Every Guardian ship like the Harbinger was placed precisely, watching over worlds that would be crucial in the coming battle. Reed looked at his crew, then back at Miller. "All this time, we thought humans were primitive, lost to history, but you were protecting us." "Protection and preparation," Miller nodded. "Now, your real work begins. Your salvage crew will be among the first to learn our technology. You'll help spread the knowledge to others." The bridge of the Harbinger filled with new holographic displays, showing training protocols and technological schematics. The salvage crew stared in wonder at the knowledge being offered freely to them. 3 centuries ago, Admiral Kane's voice resonated with purpose. Humanity made a choice. We could have ruled the galaxy with our technology. Instead, we chose to become its hidden guardians, preparing for this moment. Now, we return not to conquer, but to teach, to unite, and to fight alongside you all. As the First Fleet began coordinating with the gathered ships, Miller turned to Reed and his crew. "Still think we're just a relic?" Reed shook his head, watching as more human ships arrived through quantum space. The galaxy was transforming before his eyes, and it all started because they had underestimated one ancient-looking warship. The age of hidden guardians was over. The time of humanity's legacy had begun.